was raining on the red lights on Buckshot when I heard they found the remains 3,500 miles away in the woods of Massachusetts. We had only met maybe twice, once during a radio interview for my new book, which was new at the time, but not since. You liked my haiku, and I thank you for that. Now they found your remains 3,500 miles from back there, and it doesn't seem right. Perhaps, like so much, there should have been so much more. More refuge, more shelter. And maybe the rain on the red lights will wash it all away, but I doubt things like forgiveness and mercy in angry times like these. In a room above a deli, on a corner, in a dream. In a room above a deli, on the corner, in a dream. Christmas lights kindle the morning Civic at Molly's as Jack swears Jimmy was the best goddamn barkeep ever. And you nod, yeah, 'cause, you know, like you're new in town and you don't know yet the whole borough truth, but you swear. You swear on your mother's grave you know these guys from a room above a deli, on a corner, in a dream. From a room above a deli, on a corner, in a dream. And you really need some downtime, but the devil and his deep state have other plans for you, boyo. In a room above a deli, on a corner, in a dream. In a room above a deli, on a corner, in a dream. In a room above a deli, on a corner, in a dream. In a room above a deli, on a corner, in a dream. Rummy. Rummy Blinks and Gravel Duck would never be the downtown comedy legends they sought to be, because they stayed plush dealing dust and doing favors for Toady Morocco, a Southside pimp who ran his 10 blocks with a gunner's gaze. I wouldn't fuck your sister for those two, he said without haste and a pheasantry bray. But they do what you tell them to do, so you can't fuck them for that. Rummy Blinks and Gravel Duck were a seedy thesis to pair this plot around. But like the inflamed city, they were a thesis just the same, of drift and wreckage, wreckage and gray. Liking on my pizza, please, but she insists like all New York girls do when they know they're right and you're just a doofus. Staring at, well, they know you know they know what they're staring at, and they're gonna have their way no matter the day of the week or the month or the minute in the larger clock of things that chimes the hours of the avalanche that overwhelms even we who once outpaced the curve. Eleanor's purse held many things. Everyone's prone to the shivers and yips, she says, curating her purse with a passion that few possess. This here's for bloating, she puffed, holding a change of face and coin. 1 small vial, 2 orange pills, 3 sets of 60, 4 counts of felony, 5 minor headaches, 6 Christmas trees, 7 separate somethings, 8 triple ply, 9 bold remarks, 10 turtle doves, 11 assorted mints, 12 novellas, and you lose at least 90 minutes of your life stuck in traffic each day, she'd insist. No stranger to the truth, but not quite kin. God wields without partiality, she'd note, handing you a hammer. In Dream 79, my idiot son balances an empty Super 8 movie reels in a box on his head while snapping plastic hangers into and stacking them into neat little piles. Crack and stack. Crack and stack. 24/7. Crack and stack. Crack and stack. It was maddening, truly, and I had no way to stop him. All day long and on into the night, I'd yell, I'd plead, I'd seek professional counsel, but to no avail. Crack and stack. Crack and stack. Home, away, relentless. Neat little piles about 6, maybe 8 inches high. Then he'd knock them all down and start again. Crack and stack. Crack and stack. 24/7. Crack and stack. Crack and stack. 24/7. I don't even know how the world hung up its clothes. Frost's granddaughter convinced me of my brilliance as she held me between her legs like I was the last poet on earth. We were young, so sex closed the deal. Rock that girl and you were the next big thing in the land of letters. Bite her neck and she read your words with worship. God damn, I could do that. It was junior year and I had spunk aplenty. My tongue between her cleavage, her lips on my belly, our fingers tracing sweat. I had a way with alliteration that was totally American, she said. My hands on her feverish ass, foraging for her fulcrum, breathing warm along her panty line. Their color that of open sky. She has taps on her shoes and a tube for later, but that shouldn't deter you from getting to know her dress, her sex, her titular scene. She won't give you a yes or a no about the two, but she was never keen on annotation. Besides, that's her little kick for later. But she did get the taps from an Italian down the street a few years back when such things were in fashion, and she flirted with the dashing cameraman who took this picture of her in her prime. My basement is my Waterloo, my Rubicon, my Matterhorn, the shore upon which I'll sort out my bins and boxes, my scatter and rant, mom stuff, dad stuff, hearsay hours, the everyday hum of meter and sump, the furies, the seasons, electric and dark. By the furnace, a forest of oddities, first drafts and false noses, all debris accounted for, my last Shangri-La. The stoop was our stage, so set aside and let this shaman show you the shuffle that stops him dead all along Fordham Road, that keeps him coming back to East 138 in the cadence of the curb and the cool of the corner boys, crooning in front of Fatima's falafel, her saffron undill, making sweet the otherwise diesel air. The poet's turtle, an Eastern painted, paddles like prose. The bard tidies his bonsai, pulls a thread from his blue cable knit and leans in. Sometimes it's more than a floater he whittles, as slow boy, as awash in fish flakes as the poet is in wine, withdraws his head and considers that he and the guy biding time via pencil both bear the grimace of studied intent. She packs umbrellas in her shoes when she flies, he scribes. But it's tentative. It's not the place to hang his hat or set down his wine. This one's going to be a slog, thinks Slowboy, through a rabble of bubbles, snapping at a passing meal like the guy in a sweater bites on verbs. The poet doodles, his double paddles northward to see the sky through unkept glass. In a bit of a brood, the poet, too, drawn to the same wild wonder. Here in the heart of Maricopa County, the girl who helped thunder had nothing really to do with the rain. She was just a girl, pronoun, verb, standing in the shadow of the cross and lit a blue candle amid the high mountains. Who knew love's rhombus proved proverb and vowel, a girl of infinite clouds who had nothing at all to do with the rain. There's a quiet on 3rd Avenue this morning. Flurries expected, no more than an inch. Winter is still 6 blocks away, but you can feel it in your bones. That bohemian gray pigeon magic of Christmas on East 68th. Girl and her parachute were a cute enigma from the moment she got in my car 6 miles awry of her landing. Thanks for the ride, she said, her parachute strangely mute. So unlike my mother-in-law going rogue in Vegas. But this isn't about any mother-in-law past or present. This is about the girl and her parachute, who could have landed on my car if the western winds were true. You go for the buzz because all the rest is bullshit, she said. And above the sky, above Lake Owasting, 2 clouds are eloping. Just down the road, not far from here, a fentanyl coven of pale crepe vampires breed in a broken old house. They split into 4 apartments. Rat holes, certainly, but it's like that here. Laced with warheads, their eyes in free fall, their hair black ash, their torment 2 rooms and half a bath. Greet the christened off the bus. Await the gunshots, sure to come. Cold stone quarries, the galleries of Golgotha where curio hounds exalt the moment, rummage their catalog sins. I am no longer confident enough to ask directions to the men's room. I just go where I am and hope for a mop. The color of genius is the pallor of paste. Oatmeal Venus, the moon is full. Look no less upon these eyes as one would roadkill. The flattened meat of discursive lust, the twisted thrust of fur and bone, my initials carved in the tree. The blue wisdom sky beckons the pilot of dreams, minutemen and brethren, to assemble on the common square, to defend from within this time the frightened, the bargained, the convinced otherwise that our time as free men is gone. That the perfect union belongs to only one skin, one God, one torn, ragged banner. To defend from within this time those who deem themselves the only heir to this vast land. To defend from within this time those who have deserted this common square and choose No, they don't choose, they long. No, they pray. No, they lust for monarchy, kingship, slavery. To defend from within this time the murderous and the traitorous among us. She came from a time of montage and melee, mishap and magic. A time when women were favored, not imprisoned by men who conflate freedom with virtue and vengeance. She came from a time when the music of the night was a one-hit wonder, not the angry drone of these lesser days where the ugly no one expected holds the magi captive. She came from a time before this joyless period of howl and wolf hunting, the staggering ring of soldiers marching, the scream of mother's broken sword. In the umber of banks beneath humid stars, she serves a tumorous magic, labors in sour purpose, gives birth to good soldiers, like good girls do. I'm lost in a parking lot on the left coast with an Afghan Kush and a Grey Goose buzz when Screamin' Jay Hawkins jumps to see Harris screaming, "What can I do with 88 kids and each mama want my jam?" "Get in, motherfucker," I salvo, kicking the gas like a mule bucks gravity. Hurling down coastal Route 1 with an off-subpoenaed legend in my car doesn't faze me. Fuck no. I expect these things from time to time. The brain unhinged, the whole world going batshit. Screamin' Jay Hawkins riffing in the passenger seat is no more nuts to me than dumping poisons in the ocean to my left. It's vast sky full with the moans of our daughter's womb engines, pumping out pilots, privates, and warlords that no one believes can win anymore. If, as predicted, this winter is the harshest in years, what chaos of choice awaits this old forest in me as it passes into spring? What trees will fall? What beliefs will stagger? What grove will glisten, renewed intact? Air-colored blocks of time melt the cyanide in my glass. Civil War chic is hot again. No one respects the hometown prophet, not even the girls who dated him. Cocktail murmurs scour the bones. The roar of colonels demand men die. Maggie's piano holds no song. Never gave you much thought until now. You're still the old pine we never lit Christmas lights or picnic near. Beneath your height above peak and soffit, every genus falls in your shade. The moon and stars go about their business. Your tangle snaps at my touch. The fire incandescent. My work is to clear the path, not set your steps to the long foreground no one escapes, no one improves upon. The siege of days no one does not give into, the loss of light and isolation, the damning chill of lesser days. Like everything else these loathsome days, I'm starting from scratch, and God knows where his wind doth blow. The whole belligerent line of us who run roughshod down the middle until the pills go down easier. Each day the arthritis kicks in, and the stents are placed in what passes for pause in this place, if not peace. I learned a lot about rhythm in old man Maneri's typing class. They're only after your money, he'd bark. Now's the time for acceptance. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. His mealy eyes punch hold like a fossil. And click-clack went to class again. And click-clack went the clock again. The siege gets served cold soup, he'd cry. And click-clack went the clock again. And click-clack went the clock again. Click-clack went the clock again. Really, who's to blame me if, after 60-some years of raking leaves and burning leaves and dragging leaves and bagging leaves and mulching leaves and blowing leaves, I just leave them where they fall this year and promise to reciprocate when the unknown hour arrives and my graceless fall litters the yard. Makes palm trees faint, plays hopscotch in the mesa, takes off her clothes with the moon's encouragement and my eternal gratitude, undulates towards the river like a dolphin. 'Neath the azure sky above Colorado, the critic in my head, that noisy critic in my head, tells me to sit this one out. That the contention I carry like a grim code on a grid of mad purpose is bald conjecture at best. Trigger happy and mobile, you kiss a lot of ass on days without poets, where children gather under nuclear skies, rule or ruin notwithstanding. Buoyed by your fears, I double the oxy. A handful of whispers washes them down. I've outsourced my brain to square colored paper, blue tomorrows, pink and soft purple lilac missions holding fast upon the fridge. It's the second scene of the third act when all hell breaks loose and all the lights are green on 3rd Avenue, and nowhere else in the clamor more effusive, the harmony more rent than here at the finish line, where myths and gods convene to bicker. With leftover pangs of contentment, we craft these fictions, barely scratching the surface of our odd tectonics. The least becomes possible, and all the rest, a pipe dream. Scrivener's error is never too far from the crime scene. Is written into the contracts that bind us, the procedures and the prognosis, the fevers and the firewalls that siege our stateless days. Our correspondence never too far from coercion, the whitewash of fiction and form. Like soot upon her finery, the ash of my nature alights. Under surveillance, our talk defers. Science, sadism, gray indifferent, backburner stuff. We both know, my antagonist and I, where the bones are buried. So we indulge in lesser discourse, a lesser degree of want. I'm so prone to forgery, you might think I wrote this poem, but I didn't. It rolled in on a fog of sleeplessness from a room with a spurious past. Beset, I dressed and came to you, my blueprint in need of revision. Perhaps we're meant to leave this place, piece by piece by piece. lymph node, tissue, parts diminished, flaws exposed, piece by piece by piece, perfecting daily the coffin pose the home crowd sees, all gussied up and gone elsewhere by the time the wake concludes. Here at the Tumor Summit, everything is so laissez-faire, so in your face and fathomless that you double the espresso, harness the Wi-Fi, and redress all the crimps in the human foil, battered thin and shiny. The lengthening silence of festive days stirs not heaven's flowers. Quiet amongst themselves, they bar no excess, claim no junction, spray yon fields with mossy wood, musky blooming, apple tree, tannins of peace, relief and veil, the eucalyptus day. This one's called Consensus Omenum, and it opens up with a phrase, or line from a friend of mine, Raphael Kosek, and madness, after all, is a haven of sorts not far from heaven. Poets ache in the strangest places, but we all agree that scripting madly in huts of our own illustration is the only way to savor the fret and sprawl of our furious movements away from absolution. Both now and in motion, I see myself before myself, an arbiter of the bench, assessing the consequence of outcome. The people of interest who have lost said virtue, but somehow always have the last word, who somehow always accrue more sadness than others, and, bidden or not, steal into the stories we tell ourselves to drag ourselves through these days of errant demand. The odd verbs of mortality seem to pertain of late, clutter our text, our purposeful logs, disrupts our binge with dire ringtones, and finds us all, the formally so, with nothing to reveal but the criminality of our moments, ripe with ease. In the streets, the Creed de Croix is cranked to 10 as we burrow jump to maxes to blast our ears to smithereens. And the cheap speed kicks in as the city turns over from dark to dawn without a trace. And the humidity of rebellion we once brought to these broken structures has since been rebuilt and priced way over our fucking heads. I have a hunch this one's going to get away from me, as they often do, which you'd know if you'd bothered to read any or all of the Virgin editions I just so happened to staple myself. One of which I recently rescued from a book burning. Yeah. A book burning. Not too very far from here. She was, perhaps, a taxi whore, a rather rudimentary simplex of things, but she really was much more than that. This daughter of a courtesan and a priest, not yet brought to heel, had her own forensic design, Her own description of the job it takes to keep you clean. Her mayhem and objective, her glory and her glee. The king of questions in dusky robes, his army hungry, his generals mute, sculpts the night with muscle and chrome, as the whipping scarves of Dulcimea pull his calculus, and she, modeled from the earth, eludes, contours the king's perspective, breathes ever so lightly across his crown. On this side of mixed blessings, I answer the orphan starling. Hold my mother's hand. Seek the vulgar familiar. Push air into flat blue tubes. Mermaids sing high in the harbor. A devoted lack of discipline defines the poet's day. The age of repair is upon me. Her secrets, my scandal, no syntax could tell. In the hour between doing and done, my endeavors earn no grace. My toehold on heaven, shaky at best. Seducing Vivaldi was much easier than it seemed, she said, as if the Red Priest hadn't been dead for, so many years. He may have been one of the world's greatest composers, she said, speaking from experience, but he went down easy, like all men do. This poem, in need of mitigation, may hold your interest for a while, but, my dear cranky peers, the truth is, alerting you to urgency has worn me the fuck out. Plugged in and captive to the kabuki, the skirmish to balance, binder to pigment, poem to prayer. Do we make history or do we endure it? Who the frig knows? Just give me the provenance and let me decide heads or tails before the coast erodes, before microbes rewrite our sacred texts. I needed to start a fire, so I bought my own book back for $1 and skinned a small stray for dinner. Frog-eyed Fitzgerald fought the foos, Those high-flying flashpoints no one could catch. In the war we won, he'd boast, after 3 bourbons and a double rye at the fuselage on 4th and Dyer. The last great dive that isn't, he'd say. Much like so much of this effing country, he'd add, as Faye invade, last call! And the dread, like the skies over Okinawa, April Fool's 45, set in, and the best of the tactical 10th chased the sky aflame with battle, black as the sea. Them quick as shit little motherfuckers duking and deacon so damn fast you'd swear you never took a breath. Eyes bigger than mine, he'd assert. I know, Faye conveyed. I've seen them little bastards too, and I wouldn't sleep with any of them. Like so much of this goddamn country, she'd say, closing down the night. There's an extremely bald guy barking parking directions from the fire tower where I'm trying to call upon a peaceful land, but I can't help thinking like I'm either going to push this guy over the rail or jump it and park the car myself. You sow a sad intelligence, Kurt said, chronicling the inevitable. Here we are, trapped in the amber of the moment, and you missed it, he said. His unfiltered lit, his eyes ignited. Thank you. This is Buckshot Reckoning. Joe Vincent Tranquina on keyboards, Robert Kopech on bass, Eric Person on horns, Dean Sharp on drums and percussion. We're going to let the guys close things out. Thank you, everybody.